So you think one day you want to be an executive. That means you have to be a superior communicator. Further still, you have to possess executive presence. You have to understand what it means to be able to walk into a room, comfortably command attention, speak and be heard, and leave people wanting more. Some people call it the it factor or the X factor, which suggests some undefinable quality. Well, that's not accurate. It is definable. If you want to be an executive, you have to be perceived as one. Research backs this up. Amazing performance is, of course, required, but at least 20% of the reason you're promoted is because you look and feel like an executive. Let's start building your executive presence right now. Remember these essential tips. Okay, first, a person with good executive presence never lets people see them sweat. They almost always feel cool, calm, and collected. They don't run into meetings late and looking flustered. Instead, they feel centered and confident. Before you walk into the big meeting, stop, take a deep breath, and smile, then walk in. In addition, be very prepared for the content of the meeting and the predictable questions you might be asked. Your goal here is to say, "I don't know," in response to questions as few times as possible, and never act like you do know something you really don't. The next tip is vital. Try to actively think before you speak so you can nail your word choice and grammar. A strong majority of executives tell us that when they hear poor word choice or grammar, they're interpreted as a lack of intelligence, which negatively reflects on the person speaking. The more important the conversation is, the more you should practice pausing and thinking before you speak. People with great presence also non-verbally engage the room. For example, they avoid leaning back too much, which can suggest disinterest. They also avoid crossing their arms too much, which can suggest being closed off or even angry. Instead, they remember to nail eye contact, to stand or sit tall, to lean forward slightly, all of which support the perception of confidence and interest. One last behavior to remember is that people with great presence also make others feel strong too. And one of the best ways to do this is by being an excellent listener and by using a few questions to clarify and expand what's being discussed. It's true that when you speak, you should be confident and engaged. But having great presence isn't about hogging the conversation. It's about being capable of facilitating a great overall conversation. Remember, becoming an executive isn't only about being smart. It's about being a great communicator and having great presence. The good news is you can start right now by using these tips because learning how to have presence with the right effort is a skill you can learn.